thanks. Like, hey, Scoob, did you hear Nikki Blake is hosting a Scooby-Doo panel? No. Yeah. Like on today's Scooby-Doo episode, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy meet Nikki Blake. Yeah, and a Scooby Panel. Like, we need to get this puppy started. Okay, Nikki Blake, take it away, Scooby-Doo.
Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from scooby-addicts.com, and today we are celebrating our 3-year anniversary. Yay! So exciting. I can't believe that it's been 3 years. We're going on our 4th year. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. We started this in 2021, and we're having too much fun to not do it. So we're just going to continue. Season 4 is coming. Before we begin, I'll have everyone introduce themselves, and Wendy, we'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy BRYDGE. I'm a commissioned artist. I've been collecting Scooby for over 30 years, and I've been here since the beginning, since episode 1. Yay, happy anniversary.
Yay. Joel?
Hey there, I am Joel from the YouTube channel Planet Scooby, and I've been watching since episode 1.
Yay. That's awesome. We've had so much fun in season 3. We've talked about so many different things. We finally did the episode on Scooby-Doo, the character. We talked about their catchphrases, their apparel, real crimes involving Scooby-Doo, the Warner Brothers store, the monster truck. We've talked about so many different things. We've done some amazing interviews with Scott Gerald, Dino Andrade, Michael Swanigan, Mark Mangini, Charlie Grosvenor. I mean, amazing interviews. And we did our first episode comparison, which was a really tough episode to do. Yeah. But we did it. So much fun in season 3. It's been really, really cool. And we're going to talk about our favorite moments from season 3. Wendy, what's one of your favorite moments?
It was really hard to choose, like, even just a handful of moments, because, like you say, there was no dud episode in any of this. I don't think in 3 years, but especially last season, everything was a lot of fun, or it was very interesting. Like you say, we got to meet some really, really cool people. But I think that one of my favorite moments was when we got all the girls together and we had a little girls' night for International Women's Day. We had Vernette and Tristan and Ruth. And to be honest, it was hard to even select like a moment where you could maybe show a clip from, because that whole experience was incredible and kind of a dream come true to get them all together. But at some point, I can't remember if I actually said it while we were filming or if I just mentioned it to Nikki afterwards. But at some point, the realization that Nikki and I were in the same room, like this is, not physically, but we were together with 3 women who collectively spanned Scooby's entire lifespan. Because Vernette was there in 69, Ruth in the 80s and the 90s, Tristan, who is still doing Scooby projects today. I'm pretty sure she's working on some like little mystery Scooby project. And that is incredible to think that you could be sitting and talking to people that the whole Scooby gamut is like contained in that. And just that, I think that we talked for like 2.5, 3 hours, and everyone just felt like they knew each other, even though they had never met before. And Nikki and I had talked to each of them individually, but they had never met. But my goodness, it was just like a room full of friends, and it was just amazing. The whole thing was amazing. But to think, wow, 54 years of Scooby all together like that, and all these beautiful ladies that had to do with it, it was like a magical moment for sure. And you need some kind of escape that is safe, that is enjoyable, that's positive, that can make you feel better. And that is what the arts do, and what all of you contribute to every day. And I hope that in another 50 years, we're going to know your names, and we're going to still be appreciating all of the work that you've done, because the 3 of you absolutely belong in the list of inspirational women
Aw.
in the arts and in everything that you do, because the three of you, it's not just a job for you. You love it. You
Mm.
want to be doing it, and
Exactly.
that's
The heart.
contagious.
Yeah.
That is
You
true.
know, even 50 years later with Scooby, we're still talking about it because it's amazing, but it's only amazing because of the people like you who helped bring him to life, because everyone that loves what they do puts a little bit of their soul into their projects.
Oh, yeah.
And so Scooby will live on, and you guys will live on through him and everything that you've worked on. And we love you so much. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us, because this has been like such a highlight of my whole life.
What was really amazing about that panel was just how they lit up talking about their careers and just remembering the different people that they worked with, and they had people in common that they worked
Yeah.
with. It was so cool. It was such a great experience.
Yeah, it was amazing.
All the different people. Oh, there's so-and-so. Oh, there's so-and-so. And then, he'd make some funny little joke about how they drank their coffee or how they did their this or something they said. It's funny. And so, but he didn't know, everybody loved it when he'd do a cartoon of them, So it was very funny. It was just great. Great freedom, creative freedom.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. Definitely the camaraderie of working with other artists in the studio, the fun, just the silliness of making cartoons together and kicking around ideas and, getting inspired. I have been so blessed to work on just about everything I've ever dreamed of working on.
It was always a dream for me to be with artists and whatever, and to go in and meet and be with these people. I just felt so, I felt loved for one thing, and I felt this is where I belong.
Joel, what's one of your favorite moments from season 3?
I just want to add, yeah, that was a great panel. I figured your two might be more interview heavy, so I am picking the non-interview ones.
Okay.
And like Wendy said, it's hard to pick a moment for anything. But I'm going to say the Scooby-Doo movie panel.
Oh, okay.
Because Devin's enthusiasm. For a minute there, he had me actually liking this movie. He was like, we normally talk after the panel, and I think we spent 2 hours after the panel still talking about the movie.
Yeah.
He was just so into that movie, and it's great to see someone into Scooby and all that. But his enthusiasm throughout the whole thing, he was just so happy. That kind of made that my number 3 panel, just remembering how happy he was.
I'm going to admit it right up front here. Now that we're starting to talk about it right at the beginning, I might be biased, but I love everything about this whole movie. So I will have zero bad things to say about the movie. So I grew up with this movie. I love the cast. Like, they are, besides like the Where Are You and stuff that I grew up with, this is the Scooby gang for me as well. Like, I grew up with it. Listen, I watch this movie, no joke, like twice a year since it came out. Like, I watch this all the time. This is literally like my favorite movie. The first one is like my favorite movie. Spoiler alert for which one's my favorite. I love the first one. I'll just say that it's a time capsule of the 2000s, and I absolutely love it. Because some people say it dates it. I think that this is the most 2000s movie you could get, from the outfits, the casting, the music, the aesthetic of it all, the CGI, like everything is so 2000s. It's perfect. I love Sugar Ray. I think it's because I love this movie. I don't know why. I don't know. It's all conjoined. I love pop punk. I don't know. I love all the music. It's all conjoined. I feel like this movie influenced every aspect of my life. It's literally like my favorite movie of all time. Even if you guys hate it, it's fine. It's the nostalgia factor. It's everything about it.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody tell Devin that we all kind of felt that way, that we softened towards the movie just a little bit because of him. Nobody tell him. Devin, forget.
For me, it's really, really hard to pick a favorite moment. I mean, I do so much research for each episode, and I just feel like they're my little babies, And I'm trying really hard to come up with favorite moments, but they're all favorite moments. Talking about Scooby in general with everybody is a favorite moment. I mean, it's amazing. It's so cool to have something in common that we can all talk about And still, for hours, we're still talking about Scooby, even after the panels. And it's great. It's amazing. And I couldn't ask for anything better. Like, this is exactly what I wanted the panels to be. And I think it's probably even exceeded my original expectations. But I will pick, we talked to Charlie Grosvenor, and I really enjoyed talking to him. He was so nice and just so much fun to talk to. He had great stories. We ended up having to redo his interview. And not only did we redo the interview, but then there were some extra things that he wanted to add to it. And I didn't mind having to redo it. It was great being able to talk to him again. But he was so happy to talk to us too. And he appreciated that we were so into his career and what he's done. And he had such great things to say about us, about the people that he worked with. Like, I just felt like he was just so much fun to talk to. He was just great. So I'm gonna pick his interview.
I just love the stories. And John Loy, who was a writer and story editor at Hanna-Barbera for so many years, then did all of the Land Before Times over at Universal, and he was a great writer. In fact, I could remember reading a newspaper over my bowl of Cheerios in the morning and seeing, oh, they've come up with another dinosaur bones in China. That's cool. And as soon as I got into the studio that morning, I get a call from John Loy. I got dibs on that new thing they found in China. So he would write a story about that. But those two series were just marvelous to work on. It couldn't be better. But it's true. There are moments like what you both have just expressed and what he expressed, that something that you've done has touched someone out there. And it gives you such a great feeling inside to know that your efforts were reaching someone. So I thank you both for that. It means a lot to me to hear that. I mean, just little things like that and stuff like that happened all the time and just made it so much fun. So I'm very, very, very fortunate to have been able to spend so much time doing that as a career. And hopefully we'll still do a little bit more before the game is up. It's been a hoot for me, just a lot of fun to get, and it's really made me reflect on some of those early days. Like, I hadn't thought of Ray Jacobs and those first days in layout in so long, and it just gave me a great feeling to think back on him. And I don't know, it just was a good walk down memory lane, I guess. So okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, if I can nominate a clip for your Charlie one, because Charlie was also on my list, on my short list, but it's good. I had an extra, so this is fantastic because now I can technically do my extra as my number 3. Especially, I mean, I'm not sure if the first interview we did, if this section of it would be salvageable, because he did talk about it in both. But the first time that he told us, if it's salvageable, I hope that's the clip you could possibly put in. Charlie told us about working with his wife before she was his wife and referred to her as like his Smurfette because they worked on Smurfs together and he kind of showed her the ropes and they worked and then they got married and they're still together. And I think that just the first time that he told us that story was so magical. And like Nikki said, he's such a nice person. I mean, I don't know how anyone could not just like see him or meet him for a second and be like completely in love with him because he's wonderful. And just that Smurfette story was, I mean, touches your heart like right deep inside for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really cool moment.
Well, I had 9 years on that, and I also happened to meet my wife on that project, so it was a very good one there too. So she was my Smurfette at the time. She was a layout artist on Smurfs, and I actually got to train her, and we worked together very, very well, and it went very, very well. And then she moved on to do layout at Disney on features like Black Cauldron and The Great Mouse Detective, and she's in the next room right now in her studio. So that was 40 plus years ago with that. So been a good ride. Good ride.
That's great. I love
That's
that.
nice. That's really nice. Yeah.
Wendy, what's another one of your favorite moments?
My next moment was a moment between Nikki and I that lasted for a little more than a moment, though. I had forgotten. I went back and watched it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, there we continued with this a little bit later in the panel for the Christmas special in 2023. First, at the beginning, I pull out Scrappy, and Nikki's face is so priceless, and the fact that she chose like a screenshot for the video's title card where she's giving me the look, is giving me the Scrappy look, and I've got the Scrappy and I'm doing my Scrappy look. Just that moment between us. And then later on, one of the questions that Nikki posed to us was, describe your ideal Christmas Eve. And I am just like going on and on, cuddling my little Scrappy, talking about my Christmas Eve with Scrappy and how magical that would be. And Nikki, the look of disgust and disdain grows steadily over that like 2 minutes that I am just like going on about Scrappy, and I love it so much. And she tried so hard not to be nasty at the end of it, you know, like I could tell that Nikki was like biting the inside of her cheek hard, and maybe she had some nail marks in her palms by the time she was done, but it was priceless. And absolutely that our Scrappy bonding moment that was less about bonding and more about Wendy shut the F up about this, but it was magical too. Hi guys, I'm Wendy BRYDGE. I'm a commissioned artist. I've been collecting Scooby for over 30 years, and it would not be Christmas without Scrappy. Yay! Like, it would be fine if Scooby and Dee and Dum and Yabba were there too, but I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I really don't need anybody there but Scrappy. And it would just be Christmas Eve, sitting by the fire in like the most comfy blanket that you can find, with some eggnog and like little Scrappy on my lap, and I'm just like petting him, and we're watching like a marathon of all of the holiday special cartoons. So there's like a Yogi Bear one, there's a Casper's First Christmas, of course, the Nutcracker Scoob, the Jetsons Christmas Carol. There's 2 different Flintstones, classic Flintstones ones. There's a couple of Smurf ones that are even pretty good. And just like the whole night, just going through those holiday ones with just me and little Scrappy. And like, I can picture him so vividly, like lying down in like classic puppy pose. You know, everyone's like, oh, he stands up weird, he should get on all fours. Well, okay, well, you could imagine him like lying on my lap like an actual dog with his little eyes closed, and just me like, oh, Scrappy, I love you. And that is like my perfect Christmas Eve. I don't even need, like, I'm sorry, Scooby, you can go to somebody else's house, but Scrappy's coming to my house, and it just makes me so happy thinking about that.
That sounds like torture, to have to spend the whole night with Scrappy, just Scrappy. I mean, at least Scooby can like help buffer his attitude, but just Scrappy?
Look at him. He doesn't have an attitude. Look how cute he is.
Okay. So I would not invite Scrappy, so it's a good thing that Wendy's going to take him in. And I would have Scooby and the gang there. And anyone else that wants to come except Scrappy, he's the only one that's not invited, can come. We're going to have a ton of food, and we're going to hang out. We're going to watch Christmas specials, and we're just going to have a great time. And Trevor said that I have to make sure that I have hot chocolate there.
Yep, hot chocolate.
There will be hot chocolate. So if you guys want to come, you're invited. Just
except for me. Except
Wendy and Scrappy. Wendy can come without Scrappy, but Scrappy's not allowed.
He's not going to leave him behind.
I'm not. No, it's fine. We'll be alone. It's fine. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny that you would pick that. Oh, gosh. Joel, what's another one of your favorite moments?
I am gonna say, and this is another one because of someone's enthusiasm.
Okay.
Plus, I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. The monster truck
Oh, okay.
Yes.
episode. It was Nikki wanted this up to do this episode for the longest time,
Mhm.
and I was thinking, I really don't know anything about monster trucks. I don't know how long we're going to talk about this. This is gonna be a short one, but Nikki won me over. I bought tickets. I'm gonna go see it. When all the research she sent us, I'm like, this is really cool. All this merchandise, all these female drivers kicking ass, you know?
Yay, and we're talking about the monster truck. I'm so excited. So can you tell I'm excited? A little too excited maybe for this one. If you've ever seen this monster truck in person, it is huge. It is crazy, and I love it. The thought did cross my mind, but there is a lot of security there, and I would have no clue how to drive the truck. So, yeah. But just to be next to it would be so cool.
You're just too excited about this monster truck.
I am overly excited about this. I've held it together though. I've done pretty good. Haven't.
Why do you have to hold it together? That's fun, damn it.
Because of that episode, I probably wouldn't have gone and saw it, but because of that episode, I am going to go see it. Yeah, whatever. You probably know what I'm saying.
That's awesome. I'm so excited that you're going to see the monster truck. You are going to love it. You're going to love it, and you're going to want one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh, so proud of you, Joel. That is actually one of my favorite episodes as well, just because it is something that it means something to me. Every time I've seen the monster truck, it's always been with my family. So we've had those memories together. The one time we went was with Mike's sister and her family. So it's nice, you know, we got to share seeing the monster trucks together, and I just, the monster truck is so cool. That was actually my second choice too. So, all right, Wendy.
My number one moment, and might not seem like it to everybody else, but it's actually just like maybe 5 or 6 seconds that actually did not make it into the final cut of the panel. So if Nikki puts it in, then we might get a little bit of tiny piece of bonus footage here. But when we talked to Scott Geralds, and guys, we planned that for like 2 years. It took 2 years to get that to happen because Scott wanted to find all of his cool stuff, and it kept getting pushed and pushed, but you know what? It was worth it in the end. But after all of that prep work, we're sitting there talking, and suddenly it dawns on me, Scott has an Emmy. And nobody's talking about the Emmy, and I know that he's not remembering about the Emmy. And I remember the first time that Scott showed me his Emmy when we were having a call, and it was a huge deal. And so I bring up about the Emmy, and just the way that Scott's face lit up when he had the realization of like, holy crap, I have an Emmy. I could go and get that, and we could look at it. Just the look of joy on his face just touches my heart so deeply. And that is like probably my favorite moment. It might seem kind of weird, but I've known Scott for a long time now. And that moment, I just like, I want to frame that and just like hang it up in my Scooby room, because like that's a magical Scooby moment right there. Yeah, definitely that it's just like a couple seconds that got clipped out before he gets up to go and get his Emmy, but just the look on his face it's priceless for me. Well, you haven't mentioned one of your big career highlights yet, which is you have an Emmy. Are you not going to mention that?
I should have had the Emmy here. Held that up. Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Go get it. Brag about it.
Give me a second, because I don't have a problem.
Joel?
Yeah, number one, weird toys or weird merchandise.
Oh.
Those, if I was gonna pick a moment, well, I do like those cards, those ham radio cards, Wendy, you were showing. Those are cool.
QSL cards, yep.
Yeah.
My next one is what they call QSL cards, which I don't know why I had such a hard time understanding actually what these cards are, but I actually just got a new one. So I had this one. And there's a little Scooby. Okay. This is the one that I just got. So he's got a little halo. There's like a palm tree, hula girl.
Is he
Nothing to
parenting?
oh my gosh, wow. Thank you for pointing that out, Nikki. I didn't even notice it. Well, that just made it even worse. That just made it even weirder. I totally don't know how I blanked on that, but yes, it does look like Scooby is peeing on that radio. Okay, well, yeah, so these are basically, okay, I'm just going to read the little blurb and then maybe somebody else can understand it better. It says, the term QSL comes from the International Q Code and means I confirm receipt of your transmission. A QSL card is therefore a written confirmation. The sending of QSL cards dates back to the 1920s when AM radio broadcasts were still a novelty and stations wanted to know how far away they were being received. So for people that like to play with ham radios and stuff, I guess, like I was reading that like on the back, there's actually like someone's name and address. Like there's all kinds of like identification on the back, but it's basically like a business type ID card. And if someone was like listening to the radio and they picked up your signal from wherever you are, they could write to you and be like, hey, I caught your signal from all the way here. Can you please send me one of your cards? And I guess it was just like a for fun kind of thing to see like, you know, like where your station was being heard, that kind of stuff. And of course you could make it whatever you wanted. Like there's probably millions of different kinds of these cards, but these are the two that I have seen where the person chose like a Scooby theme to go on the cards. Obviously they must have been Scooby fans of some sort, but like they're a weird, interesting kind of piece of, I guess we can call it merch or memorabilia. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not was not aware of that particular point in that one.
I guess it's good to know that they aren't official merchandise because, you know,
yeah,
Scooby peeing on anything would just not be.
But I also like the weird foreign ambulance firefighter toys. And then there's like a whole line of them.
Yep.
'Cause like when you showed those, I'm like, what is this? And then I want this. It was cool.
Which is now making me wonder what other weird sets did they make? I think Harmony is the maker of this. Like, did they have the boating one? Clearly probably the farm one. Like, what else did they have? Did Scooby Goes to the Circus?
Ooh.
And there's like a little plastic pop-up tent or something, or like a little plastic elephant, you know? I feel like now we need to know. We need to know these things.
That's my favorite moment from 2023. Maybe not my favorite moment, but one of them.
Forgot all about that one. Although I was looking at the list today in IMDb because I'm like, wow, some of these just seem like they were so long ago.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
So my first one, if I have to order them, I guess, is our interview with Mark Mangini.
Oh.
He was just so great. The stories that he told us about how he did these crazy things to get sound for movies, some of the things he did were just insane.
Yeah.
But the fact that he put himself into that role to get the best sounds that he could, I just really felt like he was just amazing. You know, how many people are gonna like roll down a whatever it was in the desert
Right.
just to get a sound that they could have just recreated any way they wanted to? But he actually went there and did these things over and over and over until he got the sound exactly right.
There's so many crazy stories of recording. You know, the animal records are always challenging because I've gotten in cages with elephants and big cats and dangerous animals and almost been trampled and attacked and bitten and those kinds of things. Those are always kind of spooky, and I'm always in high speed sports cars. I'm always recording, you know, Lamborghinis and Ferraris for these kind of chase movies. I go out a lot with the military, the Navy and the Army, to record munitions and bombs, and that's always fun, playing around with things that go boom.
You don't think about the sound being a dangerous job, but it does sound like you've put yourself in some dangerous situations.
Like anything with risk, there's reward, and the closer you get to something, often the better it sounds. The more risk you take to get exactly the sound that you want, the more you push the envelope to get what you hear in your head, the more likely it is that it's becoming more and more dangerous to get it in the first place. Yeah. I'm trying to think the closest I've ever come. You know, on Dune, where I've done a lot of dangerous things. On Dune, I wanted the sound of the bodies rolling down the sand dunes, and sometimes the best way to do something is to do it yourself. And that was very painful. We went to the Mojave Desert and climbed 2,000 and 3,000 foot sand dunes, and I was the one that volunteered to do the rolling, and I tossed myself down the dune face and rolled 3,000 feet and would hit my head on a rock. I didn't get a concussion or anything, but it was very painful, and I would go home with bruises all over my body. And of course, just being out in the desert, it's 90 degrees. We schlepped tons and tons of water, but we're out in the noonday sun for 9 hours trying to capture authentic sounds in the desert. When you may have heard or seen some of these National Geographic specials about the singing dunes. Dunes themselves, with the right composition of sand and the right humidity, make this lovely moaning sound when the wind pushes a mass of sand in one direction. And you get this very pure musical sound. And you can look this up on YouTube. They're easy to find. And I was determined to get that. And I was in Doha, Qatar, for a film festival, and they offered to take me out to their dunes. So I wanted to record those sounds in their dunes, but the only way to do it is to trigger a landslide, because if there's no wind, nothing is moving the sand. So they brought 2 Toyota Land Cruisers up to the top of the dune, and we got in them, and we're pointed down 45 degrees, and we triggered massive landslides that I just nearly escaped getting caught in, but I got amazing recordings of these singing sand dunes.
His stories were just great. His Dino impression was really good too.
Yeah.
Brian was doing it, and what you have to do is inhale, go.
And he also put in like a lot of effort to explaining things while we were talking to him, probably more so than anybody else.
Yeah.
Which was it was so interesting because I don't know anything about sound and all of those things. It was a totally different world. And he just explained it in a way that was very interesting and easy to understand. And yeah, that was a really great interview. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Any other moments that you want to share Wendy?
Well, Pat Fraley, just on his own, definitely deserves a
He's
spot on the
right?
list. I thought he was. I thought he was a 2023.
I didn't see him in the list on IMDb.
No? Maybe not. We'll have to recheck that. I thought he was last year, though. But yeah, that was great, especially when he put you on the spot and you got all nervous.
That was not great.
And especially since you, before he even came on, before he signed on, you knew something was going to happen. You called it. You jinxed yourself.
No, you called it because as I recall, Wendy said, I hope he doesn't put me on the spot.
Yeah, I think honestly too, what's making me nervous is that for the most part, I feel like the majority of people that we've talked to are like very like quiet and mellow. And I just have this feeling that he's going to be like high energy, but not in like a hyper way, but in like a very engaging way. And I'm a
Right.
little scared that he might be like, let's do some voice exercises or something. Like that's what I'm scared of. I listened to every demo on his website last night and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, like what if he tries to do that? You know
Oh
what I
my
mean? Like
gosh.
we
That would
can't
be
say
terrible.
no.
That's where the fear comes in. Like that would be
Right?
terrifying. And then what does he do? He puts me on the spot.
You just react, Nikki. Nice hair.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's go back to Nikki. Nikki Gira. Okay, now I'm going to do a different line. Nice hair.
Thank you.
You see how you changed? That's the way we would work, depending on what they'd give you.
So does that mean that you talked to him before the interview?
Oh,
and you
I
were
wish I
like,
could take credit
I'm
for
gonna
that.
kind of warn Nikki, but not really warn her. Just like you two in cahoots.
Guess we'll never know.
Oh, that was awful.
I enjoyed it.
I know you did.
Yeah, I did. Nikki, you have really nice hair.
No.
Nikki's like,
No. Not going there. Joel, anything else that you want to add?
I just loved all the interviews you two did. You both do a wonderful job. I'd rather watch the interviews than participate in the panel. Because I can take it all in, right? And just like probably while you're interviewing, you're just kind of busy focusing on your next question. You're listening and obviously, but I get to like totally zone in and just focus on what they're saying and repeat and rewind too. You know, it's great. Learning a lot.
The only thing that I wanted to add as a favorite moment is when we talked about the Warner Brothers Studio store, because I have been to the stores and my parents used to bring stuff back for me when they went to Atlantic City. So again, I kind of had a special connection and just brought back good memories. And that's what Scooby is, bringing us good memories. That's why we love him so much. Yeah. So I do want to thank everybody that's been on a panel, everybody that's considered coming on a panel, everybody that's watched the panels and commented, liked, shared, whatever, you know, thank you for supporting us, for watching us. We do this because it's a lot of fun and we share it because people may be interested. So if you guys are interested, we appreciate it. Thank you. I'm hoping that we get some new people in season 4. Not that I don't like the people that have been on. I love you all. Just that, you know, it's fun to talk to new people and kind of break them in and then their reaction after we're done recording. And the things that we talk about that are so crazy and they're just like, what is happening right now? Like they're kind of scared, but they're also intrigued.
Right.
That I love.
Yeah. Scooby Panel After Dark is not for the faint of heart.
That is so true. Any final thoughts, Wendy?
Yeah, like Nikki said, just thank you to everyone who watches the panels. We do them because it's a lot of fun, but like, please also remember it's a lot of work. Nikki has a full-time job and a family and still finds time to edit these together and do all of the research and talk to the people ahead of time. So Nikki, thank you for making all of this possible. I don't even think, like, I still sometimes have to like pinch myself. I'm like, did we really just talk to Jerry Eisenberg? Did we really just do this? Did we really just meet somebody that's on the other side of the country that also loves Scooby as much as we do? It's really a fun and wonderful experience. And we appreciate your hard work as fans as well as your friends, because at one time we were all just fans watching Scooby and following Scooby Addicts online. I think we've all been there. And so it's just been a wonderful experience. Can't wait to see what happens going forward, because Scooby's lasted 54 years and counting. See you on the 54th anniversary of the Scooby Panel. Might be from the geriatric ward. Might have to summon me with a Ouija board. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see, but we're looking forward to what comes next.
We do have a lot to talk about. 54 years of Scooby gives us a lot of content. So, Joel, any final thoughts?
Yeah, looking forward to season 4. And yeah, once again, like what Wendy said, thank you, Nikki, for keeping us on our toes. Always surprising us with topics. Never know what you're going to pull out.
We have some good ones in season 4. I'm excited. We'll talk about that later. I do want to thank you both for being part of Wendy since the beginning. And Joel, you've been a big part of season 3. And I appreciate the time that you guys give me and talking for hours upon hours. And when I send you topics and then I'm like, well, let's tweak this a little, let's do this a little bit differently. And, you know, I'm sure it can be a little frustrating at times, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there and being on the panels. And I love talking to you both. And I'm excited to talk more in season 4. We are going to wrap things up. Before we do, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. Wendy, we'll start with you.
On Instagram, I'm at Wendy BRYDGE. Twitter X is Wendy Loves Jesus, and my blog is wendylovesjesus.wordpress.com.
Joel?
You can find me on YouTube, just Planet Scooby.
Definitely check out Planet Scooby, because Joel has been doing some awesome videos that you do not want to miss. And you can find all my stuff on scooby-addicts.com. Thank you for joining us for another Scooby panel, and we'll see you in season 4. Thank you for tuning in to another Scooby panel. I'm Nikki Blake from scooby-addicts.com. If you like these panels, please subscribe to my channel for more great discussions. A huge shout out to our patrons, Julie Rosen, Ross from scoobyfan.net, Tagus, Elizabeth Maloney, and Reese. If you would like to support the Scooby panel, please go to patreon.com/ScoobyAddicts. A very special thank you to artist, blogger, and Scooby collector Wendy BRYDGE for 3 years of her time on the panels, and for transcribing the first Charles Grosvenor interview, which made it easier for me to add the subtitles for that clip. And to Joel from Planet Scooby for watching the panels for 3 years and joining us on the panels in the middle of season 2. Scooby Panel is available in podcast form on most podcast platforms, or as a web series on YouTube. You can find Scooby Panel on Instagram, Facebook, and X as @ScoobyPanel. Shaggy and Scooby were voiced by Scott Innes. Check out Scott's website, onescottshop.com. Scooby Addicts artwork by Will Davenport. Video editing by Nikki Blake. Music composed and performed by Bovine Nightmares. Please join us next time for another Scooby panel.